What's going on, everybody? KSA, Kris here, Real Estate Blitz, and we're finishing up with marketing channels. Today's the last day for this portion, and then after we get done with this portion, we're going to start going really deep into everything we've pretty much already covered. Okay, so today, the very last thing that we're going to talk about with marketing channels, how long does it take for a channel to mature in order to get a profit? And I think that's extremely important to talk about because I think sometimes what happens is a lot of agents get confused on what they think their expectations. Basically, it's expectation shaping is what we're going to talk about today. Because I hear it all the time. Well, I started cold calling, it didn't work. I got some inbound leads and they were all garbage. I mean, I've heard it all. I actually was talking with a close friend of mine the other day, and that was one thing he said. He says, "Oh, well, I was paying for inbound leads through Sync and they're all garbage." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, how long have you been, paying for leads?" He says, "Well, like a month." Well, that doesn't make any sense to me. I've heard people say it with Facebook ads. And I love Facebook ads. I love Facebook inbound leads. I think they're fantastic. We get a ton of business. Adam's he's been out already. He put a few more in escrow, my buyer's agent, and my partner. Love him. But, 3 this week. I think it was this week. Yeah, three more this week. And it was from inbound leads, all from Facebook. So it's about expectation shaping. Let's walk through each one and talk about what it takes. Now, here's the thing. I've actually talked about a lot of this stuff, but you probably didn't realize it. And when you have individual marketing channels, so we first talked about the 5 basic things. We'll go through every one of them that you should be doing. Each one of those falls within a specific marketing bucket, okay? Marketing buckets, again, turbo leads, okay? So that's stuff, 30 days, I want to get a deal. You got drip, right? So over time, it's going to take an extended period of time, but you got to start working on it now in order to get your return in the future. You have open houses and you have sphere. So first off, prospecting, cold calling. Prospecting, cold calling. Cold calling is part of a turbo lead bucket. If you're cold calling, you're trying to get low-hanging fruit today. You're trying to get an appointment today. Now you're going to get people, I got a list up here on my wall from our cold calls that we did this week. We have 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 people up on our board that are follow-ups to our cold calls. Those are follow-ups. Those are people that said, yes, I'm interested, just not today. Call me back in a week. Call me back in 2 weeks. We'll be interviewing agents to come and sell our home. But cold calls, you're typically looking at, it's an immediate situation. You're looking at having a listing within 30 days or having a deal within 30 days. Okay? Next one, follow-up calls. Follow-up calls are basically inbounds that said, yes, I'm interested. Still, again, low-hanging fruit. Follow-up calls are really, it takes a while to create a lead funnel or a funnel for follow-up calls, but as you build more people that are in your follow-up call database, those are pretty much immediate deals. So you got to be following up almost. I follow up every day. That's just me. I do follow-up calls for 1 hour every day. Sometimes it's less than an hour, which is fine. I just add in extra time into my cold calls. Direct mail. Direct mail is over time. Okay, if you're doing direct mail and you think I send out direct mail pieces, I send them to a house and I send it to a house once and I should get deals. That is not how this works. Direct mail, okay, view it almost like farming. You're going to have to send out a piece 3 to 4 months to the same addresses before you start getting a return. Now, there are other places where you can send direct mail, which should give you a faster return if you're touching them in multiple ways. So example, if I'm doing expired listings, I send direct mail, but I'm also cold calling them, and I'm cold calling them relentlessly multiple times. So I'm leaving voicemails. I'm talking to them on the phone. They saw me in their mailbox. They've seen me. I'm touching them. But it's all about multiple touches. If you're not cold calling people within the direct mail sphere where you are, you got to treat it like farming. You're going to send out direct mail 3 to 4 months to the same addresses before you start getting returns. Just is what it is. Social media. Social media takes time. I think a lot of agents think that if I just start blasting crap on social media, people will hit me up. And here's the thing, you could get the unicorn buyer seller. But instead of trying to send out buy my house, I sell houses, buy my house, which is important too, because we always talk about attention is king, right? It's mostly about brand awareness on social media, really pushing your brand. If you want to learn more about that, I would highly recommend you start off by checking out Gary Vaynerchuk. You can check him out he has a great podcast. He's on YouTube. He writes books. I'm listening to Crushing It right now. Crush It is the next one I'm going to be listening to. But I've read a couple of his other books as well. I got one in here. we go. So if you haven't seen that one, that's a pretty damn good book. But you know, social media, it is about brand pushing, brand awareness, and then you ask people for business as well, and really put it out there that you help people buy and sell homes. But social media takes time. It could take you a year. When we first started building up our social media presence, it took us about a year and a half. Now we get a lot of deals off of social media, and we have multiple platforms. So like somebody hit me up on YouTube and like, hey, I saw your Facebook page, KSA Real Estate Group. I'm like, that's only one. We have 6, 7, or 8 different pages because we're trying to communicate or touch different types of people, different types of personalities. I'm going to put that down as a to-do. So, sorry, I had to write that down because it gave me an idea. I thought about it yesterday on a video that I want to do. So I'm going to do that video probably tomorrow. But anyways, so it's different ways of communicating and touching people, whether it's through YouTube, whether it's through Instagram. I love Instagram. But really pushing you, who you are, making people like you, know you, trust you, and pushing your brand. So social media takes time. But this is where people screw up. They try to find a quick way. They try to find the quick angle. If I just do this, I'll make it on. It takes time. You got to build social media and your presence over time, and you have to consistently build it into your daily routine. Every day, you got to do some type of social media posts, you know, something. You got to be putting your information and content out there to people. Next one, open houses. Open houses are really cool because open houses are 0 to 3 months. I'm a huge fan of open houses. I think open houses are a great way, especially if you're new in the business, to build a business. And even if you've been in the business for quite a while and you just need extra business, open houses are wonderful. So you're looking at the burn time on open houses is 0 to 3 months. People are walking into the house. The odds are good that they've already really made a commitment to buy. They've already made a commitment to buy. It's just a matter of when. It's a matter of how long. It's a matter of have they done their pre-qualification? If they haven't, I got a lender you got to talk to. We get you pre-qual right now. It's a matter of them gaining enough information, content, depending on their personality type, enough information to make the decision to go a direction that they want to go. You're there every time you meet somebody. It's an opportunity to help educate them in order to move them farther down that path so their commitment is deeper and they end up buying a house through you, ideally. Last one, sphere of influence. Sphere of influence is a mix of fast and slow. I get a ton of business off of sphere of influence, and I didn't even realize it. I was talking with Adam this morning, and I don't think about it, I guess, but I probably get 2 or 3 deals a month, maybe minimum 1 deal a month, just off of friends that see me on Facebook, that know I sell real estate, people that I talk to on the phone, friends that I run into randomly, friends recommending me online. Somebody, it happened this morning. Somebody says, hey, I'm looking for an agent that I can trust in X area. A buddy of mine, Mike, who's actually a solar guy, he says, dude, you gotta call Kris. You know, he's trust, he won't push you, this, that, and the other. In fact, go check out, and he's coaching this guy. Go check out the YouTube, check out this, check out that. You can see him everywhere. He's fantastic. That's sphere of influence. That's wonderful. So sphere of influence is a mix of you know, in the beginning, you have to cultivate your sphere of influence. I'm going to go deeper. You have to cultivate your sphere of influence because not always your friends and family don't always want to recommend you in the beginning because you aren't showing production. So you just got to kind of push them and educate them to make them realize that they need to help you and you really appreciate their help. Sphere of influence also grows. Now you're talking about past clients, right? You're talking about, you know, people that you've met randomly that you put into your sphere of influence database, which you should have a database, but you should be working that consistently. At a minimum, every quarter, I'm reaching out to everybody in my database. But that's why I said you can get business today, you can get business over time. And I always ask for them, hey, do you know anybody looking to buy or sell? Are you looking to buy or sell? Because man, I'd hate it if I found out later that you ended up selling the house to somebody else and you give me a chance to at least come over and interview for the job. So anyways, that's what I got. This is the last part of it. I'm going to really start going deeper. I sat down yesterday and I sat down and I was trying to think of, you know, the big questions. Why do agents fail? What are the shortcomings of all agents? And I wrote out like this whole long list. And then I started creating a lot of sub stuff to it. And I think up to this point, I've been talking about big picture concepts, but I haven't gone really deep into each one. So I'm literally almost going to be like starting over the 6-figure part. And this is beneficial, again, to the real estate blitz too. So the brokerage and non-brokerage individuals, agents. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So that's all I got today. Appreciate you. do me a favor. If you're not already subscribed to YouTube, please do me a favor, subscribe to the YouTube channel. I really appreciate it. And check me out on Instagram, KSA Kris, Kris with a K. You can look me up on Facebook, KSA Kris, Kris with a K. And you know, both of those are going to be kind of like me personally, and you're going to see my business page is out there too. And if you want to see my website, it's ksakris.com. That's all I got. Appreciate y'all. We'll talk to you later. Bye.